To answer the question, if the writer wrote boys or girls, which one would I sleep with, date, or marry? Um, with the way I've designed them, I'm going based on the characters that I've developed, not the ones that were in the original show. With characters I developed, if Boomer were a girl, I would probably say that would be my number one choice. I probably wouldn't be with Brick or Butch if they were girls. But Boomer definitely, probably because she would be a nice compliment to my personality. Seems like the kind of person I would get along with because I hate personal strife. And characters like Brick and Butch, if they were girls, would be girls that I would have a lot of conflict with, and I don't like that. So I would probably say eventually Boomer would be my choice with that among those. Thank you for that a very interesting question, Steffi 101. Okay, the next question actually the rest of these questions come from just one user. So the rest of these questions come from JadeGold. And she asks, the first question is this. If you're available without a prescription, where would I find you? Walmart is sold out. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I did say in my signature on my DeviantArt page that I'm available without a prescription. So, so to answer that, where would you find me? You would find me at home. Perhaps you would find me here on Deviant or here at my site at sionyoung.com. You will find me on DeviantArts. You may find me commenting at YouTube. I do a little bit of commenting at YouTube. You could find me there. You could find me. I think those are the only public places you can find me. If you go to my DeviantArt page or at the contact page here at Sion Young's website, you can find some contact info with my email address. I believe my phone number is around there somewhere, so you could find me there. You can find me at Skype. My Skype name is the same as my DeviantArt name, is CyclusD4. So you can find me there. Okay. Next question, same questioner, Jade Gold. Who or what influences you the most when you're working on your art? Who influences me the most? Uh, Honestly, I think the only personal being who influences me in my arts the most would be God and His Son Christ Jesus. Those are the only the personal beings that influence me the most. Other persons who might influence me, I would honestly say maybe uh, other artists that I've been influenced by would be C.S. Lewis, the famous Christian author and apologist. His work has influenced me, particularly his book, The Screwtape Letters. Definitely a read. That's one that's influenced me. Um, Honestly, recently, I would say that the operas of Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart have been influencing me recently. His way of telling stories through music was absolutely ingenious, the way he mastered the art of the opera. I've been watching scenes from his opera Don Giovanni, one of my personal favorites, and that's definitely given me a great deal of inspiration. So those are persons that I can think influence me directly. As to what influences me the most, I honestly say the kind of music that I listen to influences me to the greatest extent. I mean, yes, computer, nothing really influences me more than music. The types of music that I listen to, you may see on one of the blog posts here at Sione Young. If you look through some of the blog posts, I've posted a bunch of music that I listen to very regularly on YouTube, and there they have yeah, I have some pieces there that I listen to very regularly that influence me the most. I love listening to classical music the most. Contrary to what some people think, classical music is certainly not dead. Classical music is alive and well. I love listening to movie scores. I love listening to video game soundtracks. A lot of the musical choices you see there are video game soundtracks, but yeah, music is one thing that definitely influences me the most. I think it's the only thing that influences me while I'm working on art, as well as some other things. I love watching films. I love playing video games. Those definitely have some. I use those more as references than influences, and there is a difference between the two. If you ever take an art class, you'll be familiar with the two different kinds of things, the difference between an influence and a reference. And I would say film and television and video games are a reference, whereas music is really the hardcore inspiration. Okay? Um, the, or the influence, I'm sorry. The next question, it's funny, it's pretty much the same thing. What inspires you? Well, right now, my life as an artist is really the only thing that I'm inspired to do at all. So, what inspires me is, well, first of all, is my dedication to my craft, my dedication to the Lord. I really love the talent that God has imbued me with, and the motivation He's given me to fulfill that passion I have for telling stories through visuals. It, it's like a disease that I just can't get rid of, or a passion that I just can't ignore. So inspires me is the talent that God has given me. Like I said, music is great inspiration. I love listening to music. Music gives me a lot of inspiration, both in stories and in artwork. Those are the biggest things that inspire me. Thank you for that question. Again, JadeGold asks another question. Do you play Fable? If so, you should play Fable 2 with me. Do I play Fable? Yes and no. I've played Fable. I played Fable 1 and Fable 2. I've not been able to play Fable 3. Biggest reason for this is that I do not actually own a 360 or a PS3. I don't actually own any of the next gen video games, unfortunately. It's very unfortunate, and I hope to be able to fix that sometime soon because, as I pointed out, I love video games to death. So, no, I do not play Fable. I do not play Fable currently, but I do like Fable, and if I did have a 360 or a PS3 or whatever machine I would have to need to play Fable, yeah, I would definitely play with you. It's an enjoyable game, not one of the best RPGs I've played, but it's definitely enjoyable. I always see Fable as one of those games that's just made for people to fool around. Okay, there's really nothing, I can't take Fable seriously like I can other role-playing games. If you want to know what my personal favorite role-playing game is currently, honestly, the best role-playing game I've ever played was Odin Sphere, a game called Odin Sphere on the PS2. Reason why I love that game so much is because it's the only role-playing game I could play in which I don't have to have a strategy guide or go to GameFAQs.com every 2 minutes trying to figure out what I need to do. I can just hop on Odin Sphere and just go. Everything I need, I know how to do in there. I just love it to death. I love the combat system. I love the magic system. Everything about it is great. So, do I play Fable? Currently, no, but I have in the past, and I would if I did. I would play along with you if I did. Okay, next question, same questioner, Jade Gold asks, who's your favorite artist? I'm talking like the classics here. Well, I made a reference to Mozart already, and yes, I do equate musicians with artists. I'm not just talking about, painters or anything like that. So I would include Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. I would include Johann Pachelbel is a favorite musician of mine. I include, um, okay, that's not funny. I include some other artists of the past that I really enjoy. Mm. I don't think I could put it down to just one person. I would say ancient Babylonian art is a favorite of mine. Ancient Greek art is a favorite of mine. Michelangelo, I guess, has some okay pieces. Um, I'm not sure he would be considered a classic, but Bernd Hogarth is one of my favorite artists of old. He's dead now, so I guess I would classify him as a classic. But he's pretty recent. He was a cartoonist, and I really loved his style of anatomy, definitely. William Finger, one of the co-creators of Batman, I would consider him a favorite artist. Um, yeah, those are other as that's as close to as classic as I can get, I suppose. I suppose I can talk about writers too. Rudyard Kipling is one of my personal favorite authors. Um, he passed away at like the turn of the 20th century. I love his stories. For those of you who don't know who Rudyard Kipling was, he wrote stories like The Jungle Book or Rikki Tikki Tavi, Just So stories, stories like how the camel got his hump, how the rhino got his wrinkles. Those are all Rudyard Kipling stories. He was one of my favorite writers. I'm a fan of Tolkien, like most people. I like Tolkien's writings, even though they can be kind of confusing. Um, as I said before, C.S. Lewis is one of my all-time favorite authors. I think he is my all-time favorite author. I love his stories. Other writers of old. I don't know who the author of the story of Faust was, but Faust is definitely one of my favorite fictional stories. So I guess I would equate the author of that to my favorites. Dante Alighieri. I love the Inferno. That's one of my personal favorite stories. The Inferno, Purgatorio, and Paradiso. His Divine Comedy, as it were. One of my favorites, William Shakespeare. I love reading his plays.